everybody. This is Caroline. I'm hosting your weekly vlog today, and I'm just excited to share about some things and projects that I'm working on and have almost finished, and some other stuff that we have going on our individual homesteads. I'm sure you saw April's post recently about a pineapple plant that she got to meet with a friend of ours, Leanne. And it's a really cool story. I really hope that she puts everything together and like shares the story with you guys. But it was just really funny. I was talking to Leanne one day and she was telling me this story about this pineapple plant that she's had since she got married, and how it's like she's been able to get a lot of plants out of it. And we're like, we need to feature this story on our blog. So please check that out once it's done. It's just a really good story. And I've been actually working on some non-plant related things, finally. I love gardening. I love growing things. I love watching things grow, but I also love like building things with my hands. And when I was in college, a lot of the furniture that I acquired for my dorm room and then apartments and houses later came from the side of the road. And if you're from, well, I don't know if this is like just a general thing, but where I'm from in Columbia, South Carolina, I grew up like people would just toss things on the side of the road, and that would be, you know, their garbage pile. It would be, you know, once it's on the side of the road, it's acknowledged we don't want this anymore. So it's okay if you take it. And so my parents have gotten like Christmas presents from the side of the road. Yeah, trash to treasure. But I recently found a table, like a side table with 2 tiers on the side of the road in my neighborhood. And it looks like in good condition. Whenever I am picking up furniture off the side of the road, I have to be very careful because when people are throwing it out, more than likely there's a reason they're throwing it out. Now, every now and then you'll get the random case where it's like they just genuinely didn't want it anymore, but it's in great condition. So I want to make sure there's no mold or anything like growing. And sometimes you can't really tell that until after you've gotten it and brought it back and started like taking it apart. So that's got to, you know, be something on your radar. It's really important to like, you know, consider the fact that this stuff's been sitting out. So if, you know, you find or drive by something that, you know, you don't know how long it's been there and it's recently rained, a lot of times I'll just like leave it, because if it's gotten wet, like there's a much higher chance that, you know, it's starting to grow something. So I always like take the same routes in my neighborhood, and so there's like a handful of like areas where I know I can be on the lookout for stuff. And so I'm always checking, like whenever I'm driving to work, and then I'll put a little note in my phone to remind me to drive that same way home so that I can see if whatever it is still there and I can actually have the time to stop and look at it. So I don't like to pick stuff up after it's rained. And I don't like to pick stuff up that's like, you know, broken beyond repair. I can do minimal repairs like with wood glue and, you know, maybe like refastening something, but if it's like beyond repair, I'm not gonna, that's more of a hassle for me. So this particular table was in great shape. It had a couple of spots where the, like, I guess laminate, like outer layer, whatever you would call, you know, it's wood, but it's got that like laminate, like thing around it. And it was kind of peeling off, and there was a part on one of the flat surfaces where it had chipped off, but it wasn't a lot. I mean, the pieces up on the top of the table were very easy to just like glue and clamp back together. And then I used some, well, I tried a few different things. First I tried like, I wanted to try wood putty. I didn't have wood putty, but I did have some other stuff. And so I tried like some filler spackling like mixture thing to just create like a hard enough surface that was flat that I could sand back down. And that worked. And I knew that I was gonna have to paint it because I wasn't gonna be able to get the grains to match with that little piece that had been broken. So it has these cool brass little feet on it, and so I wanted to paint it something dark to contrast it, but I couldn't decide, so I bought some samples, and I ended up going with the black, and I thought I would like the lacquer, the spray paint, and so I spray painted the whole thing, and it was way too shiny. And so then I sanded it back down with some steel wool and went back over with an entire paint sample, and actually the whole sample was just enough paint for the whole table, and it was perfect because I didn't have to buy a 32 ounce jar. So I painted it. It was a pretty matte finish, and I had bought some wood wax to use over, some furniture wax to use over the top, and I forgot about it, and so I started polying the whole thing. And so I'm at the point right now where it's painted, it's polyed. I've used some steel wool to like polish up the brass so it really shines. So what I think I'm gonna do is do one more layer of sanding with like a really fine grit. I use a palm sander, but then I really like to go with steel wool in between finishes. It just leaves like a really, really smooth finish. And I want to make sure whatever coating I use on the top is going to be resistant to things that I'm going to put on the table, like a lamp or coasters or picture frame or something. So stay tuned for the final product, but I did want to show you what I have in progress. And then I've also got some plans to build a blanket ladder. So I drew those up yesterday, used my math, and built, well, I haven't built yet, but designed the framework for, you know, the size boards I need and what I need to cut everything to and how big it's going to be and what angles things need to be cut at. And I'm pretty excited about that. I've seen many blanket ladders like on the market, and it just seems like something super easy to build. So stay tuned for that as well. And I did want to show you, I finally pulled up my tomato plants because it's starting to get cold. But I was able to get like a nice harvest of my last cherries, and some of them are really teeny, and obviously they haven't all gotten ripe yet, but there were ants all in the plants. And so I like took the dirt out and spread it out and put a lot of water on it. So hopefully that will not create a lot of ant mounds. But we've got lots going on, and stay tuned for all of the other videos that are being edited right now. I know we've got some Guess the Methods coming down the pipeline, and some more Make It for the First Times that are going to be put out, as well as April's snack bags. April and her snacks are just a whole thing, and that's coming. Yesterday, it was so funny. We got a text from Kara and Zach that they had this huge pile of mulch dropped off in their driveway while they were at home, and it blocked Kara's car in. And so there was this desperate text message at like, 6 o'clock yesterday evening, like, can anyone come out, help us move this mulch so we can use our car tomorrow for our appointments and work and stuff. And so Brittany couldn't, she had something she had to do, and I was in the middle of a Bible study, and April went and helped them, and they moved the mulch, and I guess it's where it needs to be now. But that's what we're here for, and we're just friends, like trying to make it and use the things that we have and not create a ton of waste, but be resourceful with what we've got, and also with our time. And so thank you to April for saving the day. But I hope you guys have a great weekend, and if you are tempted to go look on the side of the road for a piece of furniture that you may or may not need, I'd encourage you to do it. It's a great way to salvage what is going to be garbage otherwise, and what's going to just probably go in the dump or a landfill, and it's free. So what could be better than that? All right, y'all, have a great day. Bye.